Welcome to Lazy Cinema, and on this episode we get to see how the eighth wonder of the world battled the king of the monsters in the classic hit of Godzilla Vs Kong. Being that this is the third film in the franchise, that united the monsterverse together, you would think that there was a lot to meet the eye with this particular franchise, and pretty much yeah. But there is a lot more to meet the eye than it, especially since it's a film directed by Adam Wingard and not Michael Dougherty, who directed the last hit film, Godzilla King of the Monsters. In this film, we get to meet the cast from not only Kong Skull Island, but as well as Godzilla King of the Monsters, who unite together for a common cause to try and stop Godzilla. However, there is another villain behind the scenes than more to meet the eye. Godzilla vs. Kong is a very good movie, but in my opinion, it's a very fast-paced movie. That there is a lot that they don't focus on where they should be. And that's what kind of, in my opinion, drains the film down a lot more than we'd like to all admit. Definitely. So for Godzilla vs. Kong, it is a very simple case of what happened beneath the eye, released by Warner Brothers in 2021 with the help of also Legendary Films, as well as Water Tower, and this is based on the Godzilla characters created by Toho. This film is the exemplary of what not to do for a monster film because this has a lot of plot points. Every time they introduce characters and they start working a plot with them, they instantly switch to another plot point, which I think hurts the film more than helps it. We are focusing on the human characters, kind of similar to Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is not a bad thing because the cast in it was very good and very well written. The cast in this is still very well written. They're still very, very good. It's just what happened for the rest of it. Because, we end up going with Kong, we end up going with Godzilla, and everything kind of like breaks away. I'll admit the most best characters in this is Millie Bobby Brown, who played Madison again, her friend Josh, and a man that they meet named Bernie. These characters become my favorite, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just am a fan of Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, and maybe it's because they just are the characters I relate to the most. But however, the other characters are not as bad either, especially the Kong team with a little girl named Gia. Gia is one of my favorite characters because similar to me, who is hearing impaired / deaf, she is too. So watching her do sign language and everything was very well done because when I was a younger boy, we tried to understand sign language, and I only know some sign language to be as exact. So when the big battle does happen, there are actually three different matches between the two. The first being an underwater match, the second being a match in Hong Kong, and the third being a match against an unknown villain that I won't spoil here. But also, another thing is the villain of Walter Simmons. He, the actor that plays him, does try his best to really convey trying to be that evil corporate businessman, but he feels very cartoonish, in fact. It feels like that might, basically, he comes, like, straight out of, like, Scooby-Doo, for example. He does feel like he should not be belong in this. There was also a reference to the original 1954 Godzilla with a character named Drop. This also happened with Ken Watanabe's character in the original Godzilla King of the Monsters. I believe that he was the son of two characters from that one, but this one feels worse because it kind of feels like the director went back to that film, just took this character's name and kind of just raped the character that he was and why he was my favorite character in the original. Go and see the original. I'm not going to spoil who it is here, but yeah, this was not good of a trait to happen to the character. Now I can understand why some people did hate Godzilla King of the Monsters because of the things that happened in it or what it tried to do for the series. However, this, while being a good film, in some ways it's also still bad. Again, the editing just feels very poorly because it just edits in somewhere else and then immediately hits you with a wall of text of where you are. Instead of letting the audience experience the film as they go along, it does feel very choppy in that regard. The fight scenes, though, are beautifully choreographed, and I can admit that they probably went through a lot of motion techniques, computer work, and everything else just to put this film together. I will also admit that the cinematography in this film is phenomenal. There are certain angles and shots that the director gets for himself, and it works so beautifully in this film, and I really do love it. The character development is just beautiful. However, we didn't focus on Madison's father like we did in Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I have to admit, he was my favorite character next to Millie Bobby Brown from Godzilla King of the Monsters, and here he just feels like he's very left out. I highly recommend giving Godzilla vs. Kong a watch, especially for the ending, because the real villain comes out, and just beware. And if I can be honest, I'm not a big fan of his design, just FYI. But there's a lot of monster Easter eggs in here, and a lot of monster references as well too, as well as older movie references. So if it's trying to tribute the older movies and what they did for Godzilla from Toho, I can highly say that they did a good job with it. However, since this is a different universe from those films, I gotta say they didn't do quite that big of a job. But despite my insults and note to it with the crappy editing and some of the characters not being on screen for as long as they should be in my opinion, I still say Godzilla vs. Kong is a high worthy successor from Godzilla King of the Monsters. The only thing is, it just lacks a little bit, but I can definitely say it does reign supreme, and I won't tell you who wins the war. Are you Team Godzilla or Team Kong? Let me know. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lazy Universe, signing out and saying, until the next time I see you in Lazy Cinema.